Apparently, there's a gold rush going on in the Austrian Mint. They don't have enough gold.
Welcome to Gold Silver Pros.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is 𝘎𝘾𝘾𝙊𝙀, your host with Gold Silver Pros. It is December 29th, 2022. This is going to be one of the last presentations before the new year. Hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas and you're expecting to have a very happy new year and a prosperous 2023. I know that we are here at Gold Silver Pros. And to end up the year, I have an article sent to me from somebody that watches the program about the Austrian Mint. And I found this really interesting as I was going through that and researching this. And I think there's a lot to be talked about here. Apparently, there's a gold rush going on in the Austrian Mint. They don't have enough gold and they're turning to digital products. And I'm going to show you how you can do that in your own life if you run into the issue of not being able to find gold and silver at your local dealer, or you simply don't want to store it at home. So we're going to go ahead and start a presentation. We're going to look at the story that the viewer sent to me here on Yahoo Finance, kind of hidden away in the middle of December as everybody's getting ready for Christmas, is this article about the Austrian Mint. The Austrian Mint's one of the, I guess, major mints around the world. Of course, here you're looking at a gold 𝘎𝘾𝘆𝘾𝙊𝙀 coin, one of the most beautiful designs. I've always loved the 𝘎𝘾𝘆𝘆𝑚onic. And when I started stacking gold and silver back in, I say 2009 is when I started, the 𝘎𝘆𝘆𝘆𝑚onic was probably the coin I loved the most. I bought more of those probably than any other, including the American Eagle and even the Canadian Maple Leaf, I think is a gorgeous coin. So I highly recommend for your collection if you're interested. So what is in this article that's interesting and that caused me to want to do a whole video on it? And that's because, well, I think what's happening in the Austrian Mint is happening around the world. It says here, the Austrian Mint, one of the world's oldest and biggest producers of gold bullion coins, is unable to keep up with demand as people rush to find a safe haven for the money amid surging inflation and economic fears caused by the war in Ukraine. And I'm just reading right off of the Yahoo Finance article for those of you following us on the podcast. A quote here from the Mint's chief executive officer, Gerhard Starsich. He told Reuters as they were interviewing him in Vienna, demand for gold has never been as high this year. At the moment, every gold coin that comes off the coining press has already been sold, says Starsich. Right now, we could sell 3 times as many as we're able to produce. The Mint shop, a modern corner of the building, has had a long queue outside daily for months. So people are lining up in Austria to buy gold. And it says here's a quote from someone who was storing, pensioner Renate, who was interviewed by Reuters. I'm from an older generation. Whenever things get a bit uncertain, we come back to gold coins and tell ourselves we'll always be able to sell them, she said. Gold has that safety factor. So you can see there people are going to gold for safety as European issues with energy and their economy builds up and people notice it. They're turning to gold. Starsich said customers were of all ages and all walks of life. Around a third of the Mint sales are to foreign buyers. The Mint was founded in 1194 to strike coins from silver paid as ransom for Richard the Lionheart after he had been seized and held captive by enemies near Vienna. That's an interesting story. So the Austrian Mint was formed to get back Richard the Lionheart. Very interesting. Back almost before 1200 AD. It says today the Mint says its 1 ounce 𝘎𝘆𝘆𝘆𝑚onic gold coin named after the world famous Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra is the top selling gold bullion coin in Europe and in Japan. So we're talking about one of the biggest sold coins around the world. Now they're going to basically blame hoarders here, or maybe credit hoarders here, people that store a lot. I think that may be a little bit intellectually lazy, but I do think that it indicates people that already have gold are buying gold first. And I think the quote you saw in that article from Renate also told us the same thing. So it's the usual suspects buying gold because of what's going on around them. Austria is a financially conservative country in which the public hoards cash and gold in times of crisis. The Mint says demand for gold is the highest it's been since it took on its current form in 1989. I'm going to read that again. The Mint, the Austrian Mint, says demand for gold is highest as it's been since it took on its current form in 1989. The Austrian National Bank, which owns the Mint, said in a presentation on Austrian households' finances in October that more gold had been bought in the 2.5 years since the coronavirus pandemic started than in 5 years before that. Notice the Austrian National Bank owns the Mint. The bank owns The Mint. If you're wondering where gold is going in the new financial system, look right there. The bank owns the Mint. Why would the bank own the Mint? Because they realize the value of gold. The bank realizes the value of gold. Isn't that interesting? It noted demand for gold in the first half of the year was higher even than in the first half of 2020, despite rising prices, suggesting a Russian asset seen as a safe haven. It is a cascade, Starsich said of the causes. It started with the corona crisis, with the pandemic, the people were unsettled. Then in February, Russia invaded Ukraine. That boosted sales again. And then the rising inflation over the summer, autumn, which increased sales further slightly. The year at the end of November, the Mint had sold more than 1.8 million ounces of gold and was approaching a record of more than 2 million set in 2009 after the global financial crisis. Sales in December are usually strong as gold is a traditional Christmas gift. So we could actually see Austria sell more gold now than they did after the last Great Recession. That's an astounding quote. They may sell more gold now than after the last Great Recession, what we thought the global banking system was going to collapse. Oh, very interesting. Um, in any case, I went and downloaded a copy of their annual report. I like to do that whenever I'm looking at the mints just to see what they have in there. And they have a bunch of interesting quotes. Now, they don't go heavily into the financials, but they do talk about sales, and we'll get into that. And just some quotes here that I wanted to show you and kind of share with you. I think it talks about what's really going on. And it says here right on page 7, demand for precious metals continued to be very high in 2021. And I'm reading from the Austrian Mint's 2021 annual report. Especially for gold as a safe investment, they say. Since the onset of the financial crisis in 2008, sales of investment gold by 𝘎𝑃𝑒𝑚𝑔 AG have increased more than tenfold, with the peak reaching in 2020, beginning of the pandemic, being exceeded in 2021, according to that report. Very interesting. We're going to go to page 9, which is in the next one. And this is where I want to highlight something that I'm seeing around the world and why we're getting involved in products that allow you to store your gold and silver and access it digitally. According to Austrian Mint, one of the major mints in the world, and it sells the most popular coin across Europe, in their annual report for 2021, they say the following: the development of digital products such as the gold storage account and gold reserve as a result of the strategic analysis they took and packages of measures. So feedback that they're getting from their customers and what they're seeing in the industry. In addition, through the introduction of the spot price, we have managed to reduce our risk. They're talking about how they market to the spot price. So they're marrying the spot price you see with digital online sales. This is a big trend. You're going to see more digitally accessible gold come about. And as long as that's gold and silver held, audited, and insured, like on a blockchain or other similar system in which you can track it, and you have chain of title and chain of custody, people are more wanting to store their gold somewhere else and use it digitally. And it's right here in one of the largest mints in the world in their annual report in 2021. On page 16, we're going to talk about a little bit about their online shop to kind of see. You have this chart right here which shows their sales. I'm sorry, their visits to the online shop. It peaked in 2020 after the pandemic, suggesting that gold in Austria is a crisis asset. Again, we've seen that over and over. To see that from a major mint is not a surprise, whatever. And, 2021 has been robust. The year's not ended yet, but it's already more higher than what we've seen dating back to 2017. So 2020, 2021, big years. And just very interesting about what's going on and what's reported by the Mint. We're going to go down to page 18. And the quote we want to talk about, collector coin demands, right here. So I do like collector coins. I have a relationship with a company. That link is down in the description if you're interested in getting into collectibles. Also, we have a collectible guide for those of you interested. To get that collectibles guide, all you do is go to goldsilverpros.com, go to the bottom of our website, put your email address and name in there, sign up for our free newsletter. You get 1 email a week in a digest format. And for signing up, we'll give you a copy of that collector coin guide if you're interested. But an interesting development here in collector coins, and I'm going to read this to you from the Mint. There's a lot said here. It says, in the case of collector coins, we saw how important it is to take into account the development of precious metals prices, which ultimately led to a significant price increase for our customers. So that first paragraph edifies what I've been saying about numismatics, that the demand goes up when the demand for regular bullion goes up. You see it in the charts, and that's why my numismatic or collectible investments were the best investment I have had over the last 4 years. And I did a video on that, which we'll link down there for you as well. Best investment I've had last 4 years, numismatics. And again, prices going up more than gold, again, as stated here at the Mint, because they do sell the numismatics. It says in 2012, I had to double our prices. Prior to that, silver €5 collector coin had cost €9, and collectors suddenly had to pay 18. We lost 30% of our coin collectors overnight, a tough but important step for economic health of the company. So in other words, in 2012 to now, collector coin prices went up so much they actually had a little bit less demand. Although I've shown you on charts across the world that demand for numismatics has been stronger across the world than basically any time that I could find, dating back many, many years. The demand is really, really high, and that's what caused prices to go up. And it's interesting to see that on a report from one of the world's major mints that, yes, people are buying bullion, but what do they want? They want digitized gold products, they want safe storage, and they want collector coins. And those are the things I've been talking about as the ways that I'm also investing in gold and silver, in addition to that which I buy the regular bullion, which is kept in storage. I thought that was very interesting. We're going to read more about digital transformation on page 25. They made an entire page of it and highlighted it. Digital transformation is becoming more and more crucial to survival in a dynamic and disruptive market environment that affects sensitive sectors such as investment products. So they're spending a lot of money on transforming their business to move more digital and provide that digital presence for the customers, because the customers are demanding it. One of the largest mints in Europe, they're demanding it. This is what they're spending on online sales. So they're developing their digital presence for gold and silver to the tune of 114 million euros this year, 60 million euros last year. So their online sales are really spiking, and people are wanting to buy it online. And you'll notice as we go through the report, they're also not wanting to take delivery themselves. They're wanting them to tell them where to store it. So we'll get into that in a moment. Another thing about online sales, page 27. As digitization progresses, the customer service experience become a major differentiating factor. So they're talking about customers wanting online, wanting safe storage, not necessarily wanting to take possession. That part of the business is growing a lot, and they spent a lot of their annual report in 2021 talking about it. We're going to go to page 30, and we're going to talk about the importance of gold to the people. That quote here is down in the middle right. We are seeing increasing interest in investing in gold, and thus strong demand from customers. This is because gold has a great advantage of being a recognized store of value, and because gold coins, such as our Vienna 𝘎𝑃𝑄, can be converted into cash quickly and easily. The combination of these factors makes investing in precious metals attractive, and that's when they're seeing from their customers. We have more, ladies and gentlemen, a gold savings plan right here, middle left. It says, where do you see a particular benefit for customers in the gold savings plan? And they reply, in this case, we have managed to anticipate what customers want: clarity, security, convenience, transparency, and flexibility. Rather than imaginary values on paper, the gold savings plan offers physical gold, silver, or platinum. Once set up, the subscription accumulates the chosen precious metals without any further effort. So people are wanting to automatically save in gold and silver every month. This gold savings plan, I'm going to show you how you can do that yourself without having to move to Austria and use the Mint. And last quote for you on page 51, again, storage. I want to talk about it. This became a super big topic. And gold storage is what people are wanting this year and last year. And I think that quote is right middle top. It says, since we introduced new service products, a lot of customers have become aware the first time, and naturally a lot of questions. In recent years, seen a huge increase in direct sales online, and now receiving more queries. During the pandemic, our logistics partners had to struggle with COVID-related problems, but they're seeing the value of new storage. And I'm not seeing, here it is. Here's the quote about storage. When customers buy gold, they often ask where to store it. That's always the case and very understandable. So pretty much in every case, they're being asked about storage. And I think that that's something that's very important for customers, and that's what they're wanting. And we do, offer solutions through our partners on the platform for that. So Kinesis Money, if you guys are not familiar, it's kinesis.money. I just interviewed the CEO, Thomas, on the program, and we did 45 minutes. I asked every question that you guys had asked me to ask him about privacy and security and audits and all of those things. And we have that video out for you. And if you're on Twitter, you'll see various clips of the questions and answers that we have proposed to him there. And I've showed you guys my Kinesis account online, how they account for all of the master fee pool and how those are paid out. And I've showed online how I've gotten those holder and referral yields, and those types of yields are real and they're in my account. And if you're interested, in the description, there is a URL you can click on, and it'll take you Kinesis where you can set up an account. And of course, that does support the program, so we do appreciate it. But I think more than that, I wanted to talk a little bit about Kinesis while we're here. The biggest question I get about Kinesis, ladies and gentlemen, is it trustworthy and does it have security? And yes, it does. So it's digitalized gold and silver. All of the gold and silver you own is backed up 1-to-1, a fully allocated physical gold and silver bullion. I'll take you to the audits here in a moment. Counterparty risk protection, because they have their own gold and silver exchange, which feeds the physical into the system, which they started first. And that's called ABX, Allocated Bullion Exchange, which has been in place for over 10 years. And it's not just for Kinesis. That Allocated Bullion Exchange has other partners as well, which includes Indonesia, which is one of the first companies to adopt Kinesis as a platform within their postal and government system. Physical redemption, you can do it. You can redeem. There are amounts that you have to redeem, 100 grams of gold or 200 ounces of silver, which makes a lot of sense. So you can get it. It's fully allocated. 1-to-1 metal allocation. You don't own it. You don't share that ownership with anybody else. Independently audited holdings. I get there in a moment. The digital record, they use the Stellar blockchain technology to keep a record of who owns what. It's immutable. And once it's on the blockchain, it cannot be removed. So you know that takes care of chain of title. You know where the title is every step of the way of your gold and silver. And they know for everybody's customers gold and silver. And they do have audits. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. I'm going to go over to the audits for you. I'm a former auditor with Ernst & Young and Verizon, a lot of other places. And so I'm a big stickler for audits of physical, audits of financials. Here they have their audits of the physicals for download. Now, there was a little bit of time between audits because of COVID, but they did finally get this one, and they do 2 a year. So in 2021, they didn't get them done, but they did get the first one done here in June 2022. And if you go download it, you'll get this little letter, which basically says how much they have, KU and KAG, and how much they have of gold and silver. And then here's the report from ABX as to what they have. This is from the CEO. And then you have the report from Bureau Veritas. Bureau Veritas is an independent auditor that audits not only Kinesis and ABX, but they audit a lot of other places. This is an established audit firm. I've seen their reports attached to other storage facilities. They're well recognized. And what they do is they audit every site. And they take a sample of bars at every site and then make sure that they're there and it matches the chain. So you can see in the audit reports, they tell you how, this is the auditor telling you what they sampled and what they checked. They did the physical audit, verification of the bars, weightment, how much did they weigh, make sure they weighed the right amount, and so on and so forth. And they go all the way down through all of that. And you can see all the bars, the bar numbers, what they audited. And I went through all of this, and not a single one did they show a concern with the bars that were there, physically there in all of these sites. Look how many sites they're auditing. So one great thing about Kinesis is they have multiple sites. You can pick where your gold and silver is stored. If you're worried about like national risk and confiscation, you can pick, you can tell them, hey, can we pick where we want this? Because they have multiple places here. So it's not like you store it in one place or the other place and you have a bunch of country risk, which you can't offset. You can. And again, going on, look at all the places they audit. I went through all of this. I'm like, okay, looks good to me. And, Kinesis Cayman's right there. Val, Cargo Transport Company. All of these companies are involved or signing off. We have it, we have it, we have it. Okay. So Kinesis got it. I think they're a good company. We like them. And if you do click on that link below to sign up to help the program, we each get a ½ ounce of silver credited to our account, which would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to start off with a little bit of silver in your account? And remember, you got the yields. If you buy some gold and silver and you do nothing but hold it, there is a holder's yield, which you will be rewarded for. I've showed that on our last video when we interviewed Thomas on my particular account and how I was getting those yields. You can also do a minter's yield. When you bring gold or silver into existence on the system, you get a minter's yield. If you do refer other people, you can get a referrer's yield. So if you want to get other people in your family. So those yields are there for you. It can be profitable. I like it. And I like that relationship with Kinesis Money. And I think what we saw with Austrian Mint was telling us where people are going. They want secure storage. They don't necessarily want to hold it their own. They want to be able to track it all the time in a digitized format. And they want to be able to access it remotely You can do all those things with Kinesis. Kinesis in most places has credit card, debit cards, virtual debit cards. You can also access it on platform. You can also trade certain cryptocurrencies and other things on the platform. You can move in and out of your gold, silver, and redeem back to your bank account in cash. You can redeem the actual physical metal if you're doing, was it at least so many grams of gold and silver, relatively small amounts. So all of those options are available to you. You can go get it. It's there. You can access it digitally. You can see what's there, and you can earn yields for participating in the system. So, and you don't pay storage fees. And the way that they do that is when people use the system, there are transaction fees. They take those transaction fees and pay the yields out, and they've got an accounting right on your account for you. All you got to do is sign up for Kinesis Money account. That was interesting. Austria, I think, is sort of the canary in the coal mine with telling us what's going on with the gold market. Physical gold sales are strong. Now, you know, I've been on the program every week with our weekly market update that comes out on Sunday in Gold Silver Pros. We talk about how much this gold is coming off the COMEX. We talk about how much gold is coming off of London now. And we saw it coming off of Shanghai along with silver. And now we're seeing the mint, Austrian Mint, one of the biggest mints in the world, the most popular government mint and coin in Europe. They can't keep up with demand. And not only that, but people are buying so much, they want it stored somewhere safely. And that's becoming the key factor for people now. They're not feeling as good about local, like storage at home. They're asking, should I buy safe? Where should I go? They want remote options to store with trusted entities. So store it in a safe somewhere that I know where it is. I know the risk is low. You're auditing your stuff, and give me digital access. One of the biggest mints in the world is now developing that. They're spending a lot of money. But Kinesis already has it. So you don't have to live in Austria or go to Austrian Mint. Kinesis has that for you. And I think it's a good example of why they have a product that's meeting the needs of the customers going forward. And I think that Kinesis is meeting those needs and doing, you know, a great job of it. That's why I wanted to have them on the program as a preferred provider, because I believe in that. And I think we're seeing the setup for physical gold and silver trade to be very robust in 2023. I'm expecting it to come back, prices to continue to rise. You know, since January 1, both gold and silver are slightly up on the year. We can't say that about the rest of the investments we may hold in the investment complex. Certainly not the bond market, certainly not the stock market, certainly not most of the cryptos. Where did you go to in 2022 when you had market risk and you had a little bit of market panic, a little bit of uncertainty, a war starting with Russia, Ukraine, de-dollarization, all of this stuff going on? Where did people go to? They went to gold and they went to silver. And you can see that in the Austrian Mint report. So if you're in gold and silver, know you are in the right place. You're in the right place. And know that there's other ways to get involved in it. You don't necessarily have to have a stack of gold and silver at home. There are other ways to do it. There are other ways to automate your purchases of it and do things like that to make sure you're getting your gold and silver in your savings plan. Of course, I'm not your financial advisor. This is just research and education for you. You have to decide for yourself what you believe is the right move, whether you want to buy gold and silver. But certainly, if you're coming to this program, you've shown an interest, and there are avenues available to you. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you Sunday. Don't forget, for the weekly market wrap up, stay tuned here on the channel. We got a couple of nice videos for you that go over more of what's going on in the gold and silver industry. There's so much been going on that we've got so much content. Don't miss it on the channel. There's more for you. Until next time, this has been Rob, Gold Silver Pros.